The masses are going to go through every ailment there is. You can't be worrying about that, because if we keep worrying about the trouble that the masses are in, we never cultivate anything among ourselves to get to the high level in which the masses going to be a part of. Because ultimately, all this shit got to be destroyed. This shit is over.
I am inevitable.
Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
All right, we are live again, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, back in full effect. Welcome to Night and Day Network LLC. Man, we got a topic for y'all, man. We got breaking news. Actually, we got Trump threatening to blow up Iran to make a deal. He said if they don't close the deal, he's threatening to blow the whole country up. He's talking about attacking schools, attacking power plants, attacking centers. He's just trying to.
Trump has lost his mind, y'all. This dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. This guy is 100% compromised, y'all. He is 100% compromised, blowing up a whole country with innocent people in there, innocent men, women, and children. He lost his damn mind.
Yeah, make sure y'all double tap the screen on your way in. Make sure y'all double tap the screen. Please share this live stream out if you can. And happy 420 to all of y'all for International Smoke Day. We are having a 30% sale on our shop, so y'all can go over there and buy up. We got the CBD, naturally grown CBD on there. We got CBD infused stuff for skin and for pain bombs, lotion, all that. Make sure y'all go cop up 30% on everything today. That's nightandayherbals.com. All right, bro. Let's get into this, man. Check us out.
Let's get in it.
Pause.
Right.
All right. So let me pull this up. All right. So this is Channel 4 News. Iran war. Trump threatens to blow up the whole country. All right. Let's get into it.
Traffic emerges of an Indian tanker attacked yesterday by Iranian.
All right. Let me bring it back to the beginning.
Here's one we did earlier. Tehran showcasing how it's turned a shipping lane into a marina. Iranian TV broadcasting tankers halted in the Straits of Hormuz. As radio traffic emerges of an Indian tanker attacked yesterday by Iranian forces.
Sepa Navy. This is Motor Engastan Marhedar. You gave me clearance to go. My name second on your list. You gave me clearance to go. You are fighting now. Let me turn back.
That action causing Trump to repeat his previous threat to Iran to bow to his peace demands. If they don't, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. Wow. No more Mr. Nice Guy. An old threat, of course, so far an empty one. It would also likely be a war crime of enormous proportions. A former Israeli military intelligence specialist on Iran says America doesn't begin to understand the country. Iran will not cave in and indeed is emerging ever stronger in all this.
They cope with the two strongest air forces in the world, and they managed to overcome. For them, it was winning but not losing. They still have the capacity to launch missiles and drones even today. They still hold the 440 kilos for 60% enriched uranium in Natanz and Isfahan. They still have the capacity to control the straits and actually control the artery of the international economy. So for them, yes, they suffered. They know they suffered. They're not stupid. But in terms strategically, they have the upper hand.
So, suits on for Vance Witkoff and team, the US Vice President leading another delegation to Pakistan tomorrow for talks. But who with? Iran saying tonight they won't go whilst Trump is blockading their shipping.
Our policy is also step by step. Action, commitment for commitment. They take one step, we take one step. It should not be the case that we fulfill our commitments while they do not.
Well, at least both sides are still communicating behind the scenes. leaving their bosses to do the posture and threat thing that both do so well.
Wow.
It all leaves Israel's prime minister looking friendless abroad, beleaguered at home. Tel Aviv last night and thousands out demanding a full inquiry into the Hamas invasion of October the 7th. Netanyahu, the clear target in all that. Up north today, anger at Israel's leaders of a different sort. The border town Kiryat Shimona in a shut-down protest at Netanyahu bowing to Trump's order to stop attacking Lebanon close by. And over that border, caught as ever in it all, Lebanese families slowly going home to the south, very slowly, after Israel bombed bridges. And what will they find when they get home? A house or a pile of rubble?
That's crazy, bro.
Yes, the Iranians then announced in the last hour they're not going to those talks. Fed up, they say, and indicate with the mixed messaging they see coming from the White House and President Trump. Well, when you look at it, President Trump has tried violent and abusive language to persuade the Iranians the deal didn't work. He's tried to compliment them, didn't work. He's tried to threaten what certainly looked like an out-and-out genocide. It didn't work. He's tried today to threaten what certainly appears in the minds of many to constitute a war crime if it happened. It did not work. Then step back. This isn't really primarily about Iran, Straits of Hormuz, their search for a bomb. It's about the Palestinian question. And on that, we've seen the Israeli state with its American ally get involved in serious conflict in not one, not two, not three, but 4 regions, 5 if you include the West Bank. Why? To destroy Hamas. They've failed. To destroy Hezbollah. They failed. And to destroy the Iranian regime. They have failed. That regime in Tehran, yes, is violent and it is repressive. But tonight, with all that, you understand why they're perhaps thinking they've got quite a lot in the tank when it comes to resilience, patience, and resolve.
Has he lost his mind?
I need y'all to hear me out about this Trump character and what he's doing right now. I'm going to be honest with y'all. He's doing this to manipulate the market. He knows every time he threatens to bomb Iran and whatever else he says, he knows that the market is going to drop. He's making sure that his people is in position to buy up everything on $1 when shit drop. He's doing this as a financial move before the big shift into the digital currency, into the digital based financial system. He knows exactly what he's doing. Him and his gang right now is making hundreds of billions of dollars off him manipulating the economy by him constantly threatening Iran. And he's not only just doing this for his own buddies, he's doing this for Israel also.
Well, Mr. Nice,
because Israel got their people in place that's making a whole bunch of money off of this market manipulation.
Fact.
So that's why it seems like he's bluffing all the time. Because he been saying this, I'm gonna blow up this, I'm gonna blow up that. He's saying he's gonna do all that. Pay attention to the market when he says this stuff. Pay attention to Wall Street, pay attention to the crypto market. Pay attention to oil and all that he's doing. And look, his son before all the oil stuff happened, his son purchased mad barrels of oil. His son Barron literally invested in a whole bunch of oil right before Trump started attacking Iran.
Right.
And he knew that strait was going to get closed. He knew the Strait of Hormuz was going to get closed. He made sure his son invested in oil before that happened. Same thing he did with the Trump coin, with the crypto market.
Exactly.
He all of a sudden he came out with this Trump coin, and everybody invested in it because Trump is a crypto president. He was gaming everybody up, telling everybody, yeah, I'm a crypto president. This is going to be the golden age of digital currencies, and I'm gonna make sure United States is #1. He did all that, and then he released his Trump coin, made billions of dollars off his Trump coin, then did a rug pull. Now, everybody who invested in that coin basically went broke. While he basically took all the money from the top, pocketed it, while everybody else went broke. This dude is a con man. He's a con man, like everybody else who stepped through that Oval Office before him, Democrat or Republican. They all con men. Trump is one of the biggest con men that we've ever seen, though.
Right.
He's one of the biggest. Like, this dude really know how to milk things. Like before he leave that office, he's gonna be worth $1 trillion. He's gonna be the first president to come out of the office and being worth $1 trillion. The way he's manipulating everything, this dude is really, really milking this. He's really milking this, y'all.
If he's making $1 trillion, how much you think the bankers is making? You know what I mean? Like they control the whole crypto market. Listen, this rabbi pretty much broke down what their plan is too. Like, let's get into what this rabbi said about what they actually doing with the market. What they plan on doing with the market, the new financial system. So let's get into this real quick. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Nah, reshare that, John.
All right. So this is BB speaking too, saying how much oil they took. But people have to complete what they plan on doing with it. It's what we've been saying all along. About
man, make sure y'all double tap that screen, man, and please, this information is very vital that we get this out there. So make sure y'all double tap the screen and share this video. Let's get this video in the algorithm.
Facts. Like, so this is the rabbi breaking down what they plan on doing with the new financial system, how they going to transition into the new financial system. Let's get into it. So it starts off with BB talking about how much oil they take. So let's get into it.
We have diverted over $270 billion in oil proceeds from the Iranian regime. Initiatives are being paved for the global digital energy reserve.
Did you just hear that? BB just confirmed exactly what was leaked just 2 days ago, that this entire war with Iran, the Strait of Hormuz closure and oil crisis have been part of the plan all along. Trump is about to do it once again. Listen, Trump and Larry Fink are good friends. Larry Fink owns BlackRock, which owns 90% of the S&P 500, is rapidly buying up single-family homes, and is now hell-bent on tokenizing everything: stocks, bonds, real estate, and even natural resources. First, Trump attacked Venezuela, the country with the largest oil reserves on earth, and seized it, trillions of dollars worth. Now he attacks Iran, and the whole world panics about oil again. Do you truly believe this is a coincidence? This is simply Trump and BlackRock stealing energy and tokenizing it. And if the leaks from Sunday are true, $51 trillion will be seized and tokenized into GDER, the Global Digital Energy Reserve, and announced in just 13 days. The price of GDER has already spiked 14% in anticipation of the announcement. However, at the current price of less than 1/10 of a cent, once the initiative is announced on the 29th, and it spikes to over $10 per token, this very well may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Comment G.
So that's basically what we've been saying the whole time, that they're trying to confiscate the world's resources so they can tokenize it and put it on the blockchain. And that will spark the new financial system. Crypto is going to shoot up to the roof once they tokenize all that and put it on the blockchain. So that's how they're going to spark the new financial system. This is crazy. And that's what all this shit is really about. That's what we've been explaining to y'all the whole time, that all this is about the new financial system. It has nothing to do with, religion, or it has nothing to do with they hate the Palestinians, or they hate Iran. It has nothing to do with none of that. It's all about taking the resources, tokenizing it, putting on the blockchain so they can spark the new financial system, because they want to build new infrastructures with the new financial system. They basically trying to put the whole world on autonomous. That means everything's self-serving, self-driving cars. All the transportation is going to be self-driving. Every appliances in your house going to be connected to the blockchain, connected to the new infrastructure, because they want to, like you said, the data centers is just surveillance centers where they want to just make sure they be able to surveil everything we do, every aspect of our lives, how much we spending, how much energy we using. They want to basically put a cap on how much people are using, how much energy people are using. So they want to rule our lives with this shit. That's what their whole plan is to do. You know what I mean? So with the rabbi,
one click of a button.
Just one click. That's all it's going to take.
One click of a button, they can stop your whole life with one click of a button. Everything attached, consolidated onto one database, which is the blockchain, and integrated with artificial intelligence. And they pre-program the artificial intelligence, basically control our lives, surveil every aspect of our lives. Like, this is insane. Like, y'all gotta understand where they're going with this. We're consolidated onto the blockchain, and the fact that they call it the blockchain, that sounds like a prison. You know, like a chain that's connected to a block and you shackled to it. That's literally what it's like dealing with these individuals. They put everything on there, it'll tokenize everything and make everything accessible for the government or whatever faction to press a button and lock you out of everything.
The blockchain kind of remind me like the blockchain, the movie Cube. Cube. The blockchain put you in these square boxes. The living situation, yeah, like, and all this is connected to the social credit score. Like, if y'all don't know about the social credit score, the social credit system that they setting up, China already started toying with the social credit system. So certain areas in China, they already implemented the social credit. Basically, that's beta testing. So let me get into that just to show y'all how the future is going to look with the social credit system, because China already doing it.
If we allow it. They don't
If we allow
necessarily
it.
mean they're gonna pull it off. The people gonna have to
Right.
stand up to this shit.
Facts. So if y'all, this is about the social credit. This breaks down the whole thing about the social credit system. Let's get into it. Make sure y'all double tap the screen like the video.
So, picture your life in a place where everything you do, what you buy, how you behave, is tracked. The government gives you a score, and the score is a measure of how trustworthy you are as a citizen and determines what you're allowed to do, like ever. Boarding a train, getting a mortgage, all goes back to this score. It's called social credit. It sounds like that show Black Mirror, but it's actually happening in China. So how does that change you? Does it change you? What does your life look like when your every move is watched? The system's eyes are in big data, artificial intelligence, and roughly 200 million surveillance cameras.
Hey, did y'all peep the facial recognition too? Did y'all just peep that? Now this is China testing out the social credit system. Episode Black Mirror. If y'all watch Black Mirror on Netflix, that's what. If you watch that, then you know what this is about. Let's get
And that's totally fine with Oh Young Hao-yu. She's 21, graduated from a good school with solid grades. She's diligent. She's nice. No surprise, she's a 752. That's her rating with Sesame Credit, a private company working with the government on the algorithms for the social credit system. The scores go from 350 to 950 and are based on habits and behavior. Buy clothes or diapers, it's good. A lot of alcohol, too many video games, not so good. Hao-yu's 752 puts her in model citizen range and gets her discounts and privileges, like using a shared bike without a deposit. She likes it.
So you see how they got the credit system set up where you can scan, where everything is scannable. So your cell phone can scan everything you do. So if you don't have enough credits to get an Uber or enough credits to walk into certain establishments, guess what? You shit out of luck. You know, so she got enough. So it's basically saying she got enough credits to purchase one, to rent one of the bikes, to go in certain establishments. But if your credit score is at a certain level, then you ain't gonna be able to fly out the country. You ain't gonna be able to catch public transportation or nothing. So y'all gotta realize where this shit is going. Let's continue.
Basically force government compliance.
Right.
That's basically the forced government compliance, which is the most dangerous spot for any civilization to be in, because just about all these governments are corrupt.
You said credit card score? Yeah, basically something like that. Yeah.
They all have pretty high scores.
It's a mechanism like pushes you to become a better citizen, to build on the trust, especially on the Chinese market.
Because you're not going to be punished if you haven't done anything wrong.
I think that's the point. I think the system is working as a warning or an alert to to push people to do it, to be a good person.
And it's mandatory. When it goes national, social credit scores will be assigned to every one of China's citizens for life. And what's weird is that so many people seem okay with it. It's complicated, but China went from extreme poverty to economic giant pretty quickly. A credit history system didn't grow at the same pace, so people would default on loans and get away with it. Add in scandals around fake food, tainted baby milk, counterfeit goods, and what you've got is a big problem with trust. So, in 2014, the Communist Party called for a system to allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven, while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step.
Yeah, this is only in certain parts of China. This is not the whole China. So let's put that out there now. This is only being tested in a small part of China, one area of China where they testing this out at. So
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
not.
beta testing.
Yeah, they beta testing this in a part of China, not the whole China. So if you say you went to China or anything, they might not went to this part of China where they actually beta testing this at. So let's continue.
The model is a place called Rongcheng. It's in Shandong province. It's orderly. Streets are spotless. Cars slow down, which is unheard of in China. Words like honesty and credibility appear on propaganda posters. Display cases show pictures of Rongcheng's most honored citizens. You start with 1,000 points, and you can print out your report anytime. You lose points for things like jaywalking, littering, tossing cigarette butts, or spreading rumors. Cameras do a lot of the surveillance work, but it's pretty analog too, like posters that list the ways you can gain or lose points. And each night, local TV shows the surveillance highlights of the day. And then there's Zhou Aini. She's an information collector, a paid enforcer who walks around and writes down deeds about her neighbors. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. Things like this are good deeds, she said. But the farmer overheard swearing and being rude. Yeah, bad deeds. Her quota is 10 a month. She likes the work, thinks the city's better for it. The thing about the social credit system is that there isn't one single system. Not yet. Different places have different rules. So what do you do if you have bad social credit? Well, for one, you talk about it on Weibo, which is like Twitter. There are forums for discredited people to vent and get advice. In Chongqing, we hooked up with Huang Huijun. He had a business until he was sued by a client, and Huang refused to pay 90 grand to settle it. So the court put him on a social credit blacklist, and things got way worse. He explains that being blacklisted means he can't buy airplane or train tickets. When he tries, a message pops up saying he's discredited. By the end of last year, blacklisted people were blocked from booking 23 million flights and 5 million high-speed train trips. And the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job, a loan, a hotel room, or put kids in certain schools. Then there's the public shaming. Photo galleries of blacklisted citizens. There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt. In China, being monitored is nothing new, but algorithmic surveillance makes it possible to collect data to build detailed profiles of people, especially the ones not loyal to the government. Of all the video surveillance cameras on the planet right now, nearly half of them are in China.
All right, so let me stop this real quick. So these are the places that they have the social credit systems. Rongqing, Hangzhou, Nanjing, and Suzhou. So Rongqing, known for its detailed personal credit worthiness scoring system, where residents is started at 1,000 points and receive points for good behavior, charity, and lose points for bad behavior, traffic tickets. So Xinjiang province is conduct significant corporate credits evaluation, allowing firms to check their credit scores. Regional pilots. Several cities have tested localized systems, including Suing, Xiamen, Qingdao, and Suzhou, focusing on behavior in traffic violations or public behavior. All right, so centralization, the National Development to Reform Commission, the NDRC, is increasingly centralizing these systems into national database to focus on legal compliance, such as blacklisting individuals with outstanding court debt. So targeted surveillance, the Xinjiang region is implemented the specialized system involving biometrics and facial recognition and DNA tracking. DNA tracking. Sheesh. Says this system focuses on rewarding good behavior like voluntary and in punishing bad behavior such as default and debt, dishonest business practices through penalties and travel restrictions. So this shit is like Demolition Man. If you ever watched the movie Demolition Man, this basically what this system is like. So yeah, so it's only certain parts of China. It's not the whole China that's using this technology right now. And then yeah, you need data centers for shit like this. So yeah, so if America if we don't be careful, we're gonna be accepting this technology, this system, and that's pretty much what they want to use them data centers for as well. So yeah,
It's gonna be a bunch of failed projects
yeah,
because it's gonna be hard for them to implement a system like this without no
and
pushback.
without no pushback, facts,
That is just not happening.
right?
So
Not
I don't know.
especially in
I don't know
America,
what they
right?
plan. Yeah, I don't know what they plan on doing to push this system. Even though we see they trying to set it up, but that
Yeah,
don't mean that it's going to work out.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That's another thing.
Mhm.
It don't mean that it's going to work out because the majority of the people say they're going to do about it.
Yeah, right, exactly,
What they going to do about it?
right. Make sure y'all double tap the screen. Continue to double tap the screen to like this video. Make sure y'all share this video, and then just remember, for 420 we got a 30% off sale going on our website 9dayherbals.com. So make sure y'all head over there and shop until you drop. Get 30% off on everything you purchase. All right. So that's 9dayherbals.com, or simply type in 9day Network LLC on Google, and you will see our shop pop up and all our social medias and everything. All right. 9dayherbals.com. Let's continue.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
So we think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good things. A lot of people.
Yeah, Elijah, we had dropped the link for you to come up if you want to come up. That's the brother from Iraq that was trying to get on. So yeah, we'll bring you up.
We can accept it.
And cameras are getting smarter. So the information that comes up from my image identifies that I'm female, middle-aged, talks about whether I'm wearing glasses, the shape of my face. AI is taking them next level. They can do more than just see. They actually understand who they're seeing.
I'm gonna look that up.
At what point can the technology know too much? Does it already?
Most time, people don't care about it. But if the technology learns too much, for example, cross the red line, it's not very good.
How far off are we from needing to draw those red lines?
It's very hard to say. I think maybe decades, I mean 10 years or 20 years, 15 years, maybe.
That's not very long.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
And where does it all go? Hao-Yu isn't so bothered. Her Sesame score is high. Life is good and she's used to living most of it online. Soon, her education and medical records and any run-ins with the law will factor into her social credit score. And wherever she goes, someone will follow and ask, who can you trust?
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube.
All right, so that was NBC News that put that out. Yeah, so that's where you see where they're trying to, and America models behind China with a lot of this stuff anyway. Like China be doing a lot of new developments and all that, and America follows behind that. They really do. Yeah. All right, something else I wanted to pull up too. Hold on. Yeah, I wanted to pull this up because people need to know what's going on with this. And when we said that the Pentagon was audited 7 times back to back in a row and failed every last one of them, how much money is not accounted for? It's damn near almost $1 trillion unaccounted for through the Pentagon. What y'all do with all that money? What y'all do with that $1 trillion? So that's how much is on the books, but we know a lot of that money be getting moved off the books as well. So I'm going to say well over $1 trillion. Where the hell did that $1 trillion go? They audited the Pentagon 7 damn times and they failed every last one of them. That means the money is not accounted for. And that's just
Pockets.
right. And that's
Pockets.
just one facet of America is the Pentagon. And that has everything to do with the military fund. So they're just basically stealing, like blatantly stealing at that.
And putting it into secret projects. That's off the books. That's another thing you got to take into accountability.
Right.
You know a lot of those projects they gonna exist, and that's why they said a lot of it was equipment problems. They claim they paid for this equipment, that equipment, but it don't exist. They can't find the equipment nowhere. So where'd the money? So what did you actually spend the money on? Because the type of equipment that they spending the money on is secret projects. And a lot of times the secret projects be about weaponizing something against the general public, because that's all they there to do. If you really see how this country operates and most government, a lot of the stuff that they come up with is to basically create weapons that affect everyday day-to-day citizens, whether it's chemical, biological warfare,
Oh,
or
your shit.
some type
Oh,
of
you going
energy
into the
warfare where
matrix.
they shooting frequencies in your head 24/7, whatever, all the type shit that they do, the secret projects that they keep off the books, all these trillions of missing dollars is going to these dark projects to basically keep us in line, because that's all they there for. They just there to keep the general public in line. They not there to protect you. They not there, to make sure that you living good. They not there. They don't care about your interests. They don't
Yeah,
care
to
about your
suck you
family
dry.
interests. All they care about is controlling your day-to-day activities.
They want to suck you
That's
dry.
all it's about. Yep. It's all about controlling your day-to-day activities. Yep. Draining your energy so you can't fight back. That's all they're interested in. So when you see all the missing money from the Pentagon, just know it went to weapons to basically drain the day-to-day citizen.
Hey, let's get into this real quick, man.
Take place throughout the inauguration, January 20th.
Crazy.
The Pentagon, meanwhile, failing its 7th audit in a row, Congresswoman. They're unable to account for nearly $830 billion budget. I mean, let me just say that again. They are unable to account for an $830 billion budget. This is insanity. The Undersecretary of Defense Comptroller claims that the department is making progress toward a clean audit in 2028. I want to get your take on what the heck is going on at the Pentagon as we first hear from co-leader of the incoming Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Vivek Ramaswamy joined me yesterday. Watch. You expecting to close down entire agencies like President Trump has talked about the Department of Education, for example? Are you going to be closing down departments?
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government. So, yes, we expect all of the above. And I think people will be surprised by, how quickly we're able to move with some of those changes, given the legal backdrop the Supreme Court has given us.
So, Congressman, I want you to take on these two issues. First of all, the Pentagon and these failed audits. Where's the $830 billion?
in their pockets.
Right. Well, the Pentagon has never actually passed an audit. Can you imagine the average American when the IRS comes in and they fail audit after audit? They'd face massive fines or charges from the IRS, and they need to be accounted for every single dollar, every penny.
And do you think that's going to change? I mean, I mean, Pete Hegseth coming into the Department of Defense could obviously represent real change here. But what's the problem? Why can't they pass an audit?
The problem. Well, the problem is no one's ever held accountable. No one's ever fired when they can't find the money or when there's massive fraud or waste. These bureaucrats have been running the country for decades, and it's not working. And so Donald Trump, I see, he's not a threat to democracy. He is absolutely a threat to the bureaucracy that's been in D.C. for decades. And this can't come fast enough. This should be a use it or lose it type of theme when the new administration and these disruptors come in. There's so much that we can change and be far more efficient. We shouldn't be spending millions of dollars in Russia, for example, to train cats on treadmills. That's the kind of thing your U.S. tax dollars has been paying for, including puppy parts and wet markets in China. We don't need to be doing that. There's so much waste across the board.
It's unbelievable. But I mean, look, I'm sorry, but you and your college are the stewards of this, right? You're supposed to be representing the people. So what? It's gone off the rails. If we've got all of this money that's being appropriated and it's actually nonsense.
I agree with you, Maria, which is why I always vote against these spending bills, the massive omnibuses and continuing resolutions that continue the drunken spending for years. I voted against every single measure because I'm not going to go along to play along. I don't have friends in Washington. I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to work for the American people.
Okay, well, we're going to be watching your work because something's got to give here. We can't keep saying, well, we can't find the money. Oh, we wasted more money. It's outrageous. Right. And the good news is that the American people are now onto it. Meanwhile, President Biden authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-provided long-range weapons to strike deep inside of Russia. It's first time.
It's both sides, assholes. It's both sides. It's the Democrats and Republicans that's helping these people steal from the fucking country. Y'all need to wake the hell up. Y'all need to stop blaming each other and saying it's the Democrats and one is it's the Democrats' fault, it's the Republicans' fault. Nah, both of them son of a bitches are stealing out the country. They stealing our fucking tax money. They stealing your grandchildren's future. That's what they doing. And y'all sitting here arguing about fucking Democrat and Republic. You stupid asses. They stealing from the fucking country completely.
I'm tired of using that money to fund genocide.
Yeah, I'm tired of this left and right bullshit. I'm tired of it, bro. This is some bullshit. Both sides are helping the fucking people steal from the American citizens. Trump ain't no motherfucking leader. Biden ain't neither. These motherfuckers is asshole puppets that help them steal, that help foreign interests come in this country and fucking steal from it. That's it. Stop saying you love Trump. You don't. You really don't love him for real, because he's stealing your fucking kids' future. Y'all stupid, man. Like, y'all gotta wake the hell all the way up. They literally sit here. Bro, go ahead, bro. They making me mad with this shit. Making me mad with
plus they're using that money to fund mass genocide.
And fund Epstein. And
human trafficking, yeah. They're using our tax dollars to fund genocide and human trafficking.
Yeah, and motherfuckers like Epstein. Yeah, exactly.
And also drug trafficking when they had the troops over there in Afghanistan, guarding the poppy fields with the Taliban. They wasn't necessarily against the Taliban because they was basically helping the Taliban with their operations by assisting them like security. So they used our tax dollars to do that. In the meantime, on the news, they basically saying we got to get the Taliban, we got to get the Al Qaeda. Then got our troops over there in Afghanistan working with them to guard the poppy fields. Like, y'all see, like that the corruption is beyond, and that was during Bush's time and part of Obama's time. So it doesn't matter if it was a Democrat or Republican in there. The policies are still the same. They lie to you on TV and tell you this and tell you that. But when you actually do the research, you see the actual reality, you'll see they never do what they say they're going to do. They never do what they say they going. Whatever they run their campaign on to get y'all vote, They never do that when they get in office. In fact, they do the exact opposite. And that's
No
part of
bait
their
and
game.
switch.
They love doing that.
Bait and
Like they
switch.
all do that. They all do that. Like there's no. That's why the Republicans can complain about the Democrats, and the Democrats can complain about the Republicans, because both sides are guilty of the same shit. There's no more lesser evil anymore. Both sides are just wicked and against the public. There's no more lesser evil, y'all. It's just they all basically into the same wickedness. It's like it's nothing outside of that for them now. Like they're all corrupt, they're all rogue, they all worked with Epstein. Whether you want to deny it or not, at some point they all worked with Epstein, whether Democrats or Republicans. And when they with Epstein and doing the little stuff that they did in the back alleyways and those dungeons and those on those islands, they ain't look at themselves as Democrat or Republican. They don't greet themselves as Democrat or Republican. They only do that for political theater, for us, for the general public, so we can argue amongst each other about which side is better, the Democrats or Republicans, and oh, this side did that and this side did this. But behind the scenes, they handling business. They ain't got shit to do with no Democrat or Republicans. And
Damn
they're
sure
in it
don't.
together. And they in on it together. Yeah, every once in a while, yeah, they go up against each other because that's just the nature of humans. Humans are just like animals in some aspects. You got, because every animal got some, where they get challenged.
Right.
Whether it's a lion or bears and lions, they fight all the time amongst each other. Lions fight each other all the time. Bears fight each other. It's a lot of animals that do that for territory. But when you're dealing with human intelligence, it's kind of different than the animals, because humans could do other shit like be in cahoots and create a whole WWE type of background where we all think that they fighting against each other, but behind the scenes they having bears, they doing lines of coke with each other, they
Right.
messing around with children, all the Epstein activities.
Yeah,
They have stuff
absolutely.
like the Squid Game. These very rich politicians and execs and all that run shit like the Squid Games, like the show the Squid Games and the Hunger Games. They have secret competitions and shit, hunting people on their properties and all. They do all that crazy shit. And they're able to do that because we give them the power to, because all the money they people. You gotta understand how much money they like she just said. The Pentagon felt what? 8 audits?
Seven
If
audits.
7 audits? If the
Back to
average
back.
person basically failed that many audits, we'd be in jail.
Yeah, you go to jail.
Yeah,
Right.
you go to jail, like especially handling that much money. Shit, they sent Wesley Snipes to jail for the same shit.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes it wasn't nowhere near how much the Pentagon, is not accounting. Like, what they wanted Wesley Snipes for $5 million. He ended up spending what? Couple
I
of
think
years
it's
in
3.
prison.
Yeah, 3 million.
3 million, and he ended up spending all that time in prison.
3 years in prison, right?
Here you got the Pentagon dealing with tax dollars, with
Right.
people tax dollars. They basically come after us for every cent, but they're able to just waste it like that to the point they failed 7 audits.
Damn
Nobody
near $1
goes to
trillion.
jail. Look, nobody, trillion, damn near $1 trillion. Nobody goes to jail. Nobody get, no type of penalties or nothing. Like, y'all don't see something wrong with that? And that don't have nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. That's just the Pentagon basically acting like they above the law, like every other politician or so-called government servant, because government is really supposed to be in service to the people. But instead, they don't do that. They here to enslave people. They are not in service to any of us. They in service to themselves, to the system first and then themselves. That's who they serve. The people, they just treat the people like cattle.
Right.
They
Just
use the
another number.
local, yup.
Just another
It's
number.
just another number. Yeah, they don't, like, y'all have to understand this, this president is better than that one. That's BS now in 2026.
Yeah, I think people should be caught on to this shit now. I think people should be all caught up that this system, both parties is full of shit. And they're just there to rob the people. That's it. They're all in cahoots, like a gang, like an organized mafia crime syndicate, just there to rob the people. Have us kicking upstairs to them. Meanwhile, they kicking upstairs to Israel, sending Israel $20 billion a year for nothing. $20 billion of our tax money for nothing. Why are we supporting all these other fucking countries though? Why is they extracting money from our economy to support all these other countries? Where it's enough problems here that American citizens have to deal with. But nobody seems to care. Like I feel like what George Carlin said, nobody seems to care. You know, people just look past it. They don't. Nobody care because they feel like, hey, they my problem. But listen, it is your problem. Yes, yes, it is your problem. You said where can you find the link? I don't know. We go to the other side of the live stream. We had dropped the link for the Iraq brother that was trying to come up from Iraq. Cause but until then, let's continue this real quick because I wanted to get through this. So this
Let's
once
get to
again,
this
this is
first. Yeah.
let's get to this first. This is the Pentagon being audited 7 times in a row and almost $1 trillion unaccounted for. They don't even know where the money went. It disappeared. Magically just disappeared.
That this has happened just weeks before President-elect Trump returns to the White House. So now he's actually moving. The Kremlin responding this morning saying this would escalate the war. Donald Trump Jr. posted this on X saying this: the military-industrial complex seems to want to make sure they get World War III going before my father has a chance to create peace and save lives. Congresswoman, your reaction?
That ain't even age well. His dumbass son tweeting that didn't age well because what did Trump do? Get in there and take the country to war, didn't he? I thought he was getting in there to have peace. Remember, he said no new wars. We don't want no new wars, right? As soon as his dumbass got in there, what he had to do? Follow orders. Because he really don't run shit, so he had to go in there and
And
follow
then
orders.
he said he was going to make sure Hillary went to jail, and he said he was going to make sure every creep that was part of the Epstein client list was going to come out. He did the opposite of all of that. He did the opposite of all of that, and they all do that. Like, we're not just pointing Trump out. All of them do that, whether Democrat or Republican. How don't we see that yet? Like, it's 2026. We got all this access to information. It's all at our fingertips. Yeah, I mean, we got all this information we could pull up fast. Information age, especially with the artificial intelligence and all you need is a slight bit of discernment and then pattern and be able to recognize pattern. If you're able to look at the information and recognize pattern, you will see both Democrats and Republicans are corrupt. And no one's more evil than the next. They both just wicked as hell. When you really do enough digging, you'll realize that they not really against each other.
It's only one
They
part.
only against us.
Yeah, there's
like
no
they putting on a whole world wrestling entertainment type of ordeal. Like Vince McMahon, your favorite wrestler, acting like they just to sell tickets, but behind the scenes they having beer with each other. That's all. Yeah, but they have you fighting amongst each other, ready to basically off each other, cut each other off. It could be family members, it could be friends, it could be actually people who have helped you in your life, but you will cut them off. But you will cut them off because they don't like the same party as you, the same political stance that you have. Yeah, like that's crazy. That's like some advanced brainwashing that we have to get over. Like, that's some advanced shit. Because if you think about it, we're the only ones that's divided about these right now, it shouldn't be no division right now as far as the Israel, and United States basically invading Iran. Just about everybody's against that shit.
Yeah, right.
Because like morally it's wrong. Morally it was wrong. Like, and that's something it don't matter if you Democrat or Republican. This is beyond politics. Like, this is like some like he on some psychopath shit talking about blowing up the whole Iran. Like that don't even make any sense. What if somebody didn't want to blow up the whole United States?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, come on, like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, that don't even make any sense. Like, everybody, whether Democrat or Republican, should be against that. Like, throw that Republican and Democrat shit out the door when it comes to stuff like this. This person is everybody at this point.
Right. Yeah, we talk about something that's
this goes beyond Democrat and Republican, y'all. That's what we trying to tell you. There's some shit out there that's deeper than the stuff you're divided over. The stuff you divided over can easily be worked out. But some shit don't need no party to know that it's wrong or right. And him threatening to blow up the whole entire Iran is exactly that. When they blew up the elementary schools in Iran, when they've been blowing up the places in Palestine, all that shit. Like, you don't need no political stance on that. That's just right there is wrong morally. You don't the fucking Democrat Republican label don't matter when it comes to that. Both Democrats and Republicans standing over dead children still argue amongst each other.
Right.
Like, that
Yeah,
don't
that
even
don't
make
make no
any
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
That don't make any sense. So this shit goes beyond Democrat and Republican. I don't even know why people be in here arguing about that. Oh,
Right.
the Democrat Republic. Nah, they both equally did the same shit. They all are war presidents because they always have the United States in the middle of some type of conflict where we don't belong.
Because it's big business for the corporations.
There it is.
That's what it's really about. It's really about the market, manipulating the stock market and making money for the corporations. That's all it's about. And making sure they keep the people in line. Keep the people divided, distracted,
Yep.
ignorant, blind. Keep them in the dark. Don't tell them nothing important. Let them argue over shit like high-ass Netflix bills and, oh, we need to go to DEI and stop shopping at Target. We're just low-level shit. Low-level shit that has no importance to what's really going on. They really do a good job keeping us distracted with the low-level shit. They do. They had the people fighting over the most lowest level shit you can possibly think of. They keep it distracted with the same shit, same bullshit. And now that we have social media and they able to basically control the algorithm, then they really got us under their thumb. Just nonsense. But let's continue. Like I said, this shit Trump Jr. was talking about, or any other politician was talking about, this didn't age well. But let's continue though.
Well, I am deeply concerned about Trump's ability to diffuse a situation with his inauguration just weeks away here. The policy change just in the last few weeks of the year is concerning, but obviously we also want Ukraine to win, and there has to be a balance here. We'll see what the next few weeks, what happens in the next few weeks with this new policy.
But do you agree what Don Jr. is saying? That it's basically, look at all of this, like the fire is escalating. Trump is inheriting a Mideast on fire.
Yes,
Trump
is inheriting many conflicts
policies
overseas, to include Hamas vis-a-vis Israel, the Houthis, Hezbollah. Trump has said that he wants peace in Ukraine and wants to
all of Israel, all those are Israel provocateurs operating for Israel. Let's just call it what it is. All this Hamas shit and Hormuz and all that shit is funded by Israel. They got to create the boogeyman to get the people to go along with it. That they've been doing that shit. They always been doing that. That's their whole setup. That's their whole pattern and setup to get us to go along with it. They support both sides of the war. The Rothschilds been doing that shit for forever, supporting both sides of the war. That's their game plan. That's what they do. They support both sides of the war. So you mean to tell me that these terrorist groups that they set up is not set up by intelligence agencies? That's how else they going to fund both sides of the war. They will have to create these groups. So right now, everything you might see come out about something that might happen in America, like this woman getting caught at the airport and they try to say she was Iranian. Nah, that's Israeli shit. That's Mossad type setup shit. Matter of fact, let me pull that up because that's some shit that just happened. Let me pull that up just to show y'all that's how they operate. They set this shit up to where they create the boogeyman to create the enemy so they can get the people to go along with it so they can go and start invading these other countries. Come on now. They've been doing this shit forever. Hitler blew up their own parliament so he can kick off that World War II shit. He blew up the parliament to kick off World War II. Come on, man. And that's documented. That's history that's documented. No made up shit. Well, yeah, let me send this real quick to the DM. Because I forgot that I wanted to bring this up. Hold on. Fake shit.
So if they funding both sides of the war, that means it ain't no Democrats or Republican. I mean, it ain't no None of that stuff can't even exist in an environment like that.
Right.
The only Democrats and Republicans is the citizens, but none of those politicians are either or.
Right.
They whatever they need to be, what they get paid to be. Nah, somebody said commentary from a ghetto dropout. Nah, commentary from an entrepreneur. Someone that got multiple social medias. Somebody that's 5 stars on Google. That's what the commentators are. Built our own business, 7 years in the game with our own business. Inspiring other people to create their business.
Facts. Matter of fact, let's get into a commercial break before we
Let's
even
get
get into that. All right. While you're here, make sure you check out 90dayherbals.com. We got a 30% off sale going on everything. 420. Shout out to y'all that's just already purchased. Y'all starting to purchase things while we live right now. So shout out to y'all. Let's get into this quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.
Right now, we got, like I said, we got a 30% off sale going on, nightandayherbals.com. Make the link is in the description of this video, or you could type in Night and Day Network LLC on Google. On your Google browser, type in Night and Day Network LLC. You will see us pop right up at the top, 5 stars on Google. You will see all our social medias pop up as well. Make sure y'all follow us on all platforms, Night and Day Network, Night and Day _ network. All right. Somebody, people always coming here talking about, oh, ghetto this. Nah, we very intelligent brothers. And the shit we talking about, nobody really talks about. We ain't up here to scratch the surface. We here to get below it. You understand? And let y'all know what's really going on. Because a lot of people is just paying attention to surface level stuff that's being put out in the media. And we know the mainstream media is controlled by the Zionists anyway, so they're not going to give you the real media. So the thing is, you have to actually look at the pattern. Like brother said, you're going to have to study pattern, learn how to discern and study pattern, and you'll be able to figure out what the fuck's going on. Anyway, let's continue though. So this FBI arrests Iranian woman at LAX, allegedly trafficking drones with bombs to Sudan on behalf of Iran. Now, gotta peep something now. This is where they start staging shit. This is where they start opening these sleeper cells up to start staging things, because they need to keep this narrative going that Iran has nuclear weapons. Iran's the bad guy. We need to go ahead and attack Iran. Peep what they're doing. Same shit they did with 9/11. Same thing they did to keep the war in Iraq going with the weapons of mass destruction with Saddam Hussein, and to find out there wasn't no weapons of mass destruction with Saddam Hussein. Same thing is like it's no nuclear warheads. Iran right now is occupying. They have no nuclear warheads. All they have is uranium. And this broom straw head guy with the orange face talking about he wants to go in and take the uranium from Iran. For what? Oh, because they needed for the energy. Oh. But let's continue though. So let me press play on this. All right.
This story just into our newsroom this morning. A Los Angeles woman arrested for trafficking arms on behalf of the Iranian government. Correspondent Max Gordon is in the Southland with more on that for us. Max, a crazy story with incredible pictures from the airport.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Last night, 44-year-old Shamim Mafi, an Iranian national now living in the LA area, was arrested at LAX just before getting on a flight to Turkey. She's accused of trafficking arms on behalf of the Iranian government. According to the FBI's Iran counterintelligence squad, Mafi is accused of selling Iranian-manufactured bombs, drones, assault weapons, and millions of rounds of ammunition to Sudan. Mafi was allegedly coordinating with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to the federal government, one of the contracts was worth 60 million euros, brokering the sale of Iranian-made drones between Iran's defense ministry and Sudan. In another instance, Mafi is accused of selling 55,000 bomb fuses to the Sudanese military. According to the criminal complaint, Mafi is a lawful permanent U.S. resident, though not a citizen. She was born in Iran, relocated to Turkey, but most recently has lived in Woodland Hills, California. Mafi travels frequently to Iran, Turkey, Oman, and other countries, and according to the feds, executed her illegal weapons brokering scheme from multiple locations, including right here in California. She's currently charged with conspiracy to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. If convicted, Mafi faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Kevin, back.
First of all, LAX is heavily guarded. LAX. First of all, they got TSA in there. They implemented ICE walking around in there. So this woman so happens to get in there with drones, trafficking drones with bombs in through LAX. And y'all really believe that shit?
Who would even attempt that with all this security? That's how you know that it's all propaganda. Who in the hell in their mind would think that they'd be able to get through the airport with bombs and drones? Like, what is that? Like, that don't even make any sense.
Listen,
that's
the
what y'all have to
propaganda.
understand. This is all propaganda. You can't trust anything that they tell us. They create these boogeymen and these boogie women, and they create these videos to basically hijack your subconscious mind and believing that this stuff is true when it's all staged, it's all scripted. Like literally 80 to 90% of this shit that you see from the mainstream media be scripted. They never tell us the real information. They never tell us the real information. They even brag about that in like movies and shit, like how they always got to keep shit from the public. You realize all those like movies like about government and government agencies and stuff, rather even if it's a comedy, like it don't even have to be something serious. It could be a cut.
Right.
They always show how they get real information from the public. Like they basically let us know that everything that they tell us is usually a lie. If there's a little bit of truth in there, and it's usually spent. I mean, it's a spent truth, not even the whole truth. It's like partial truth, but then they build a whole bunch of lies on top of it. That's literally what they do. How do we still believe these people in 2026? How could we just sit there in front of a television screen or a computer screen or a phone screen and hear these people from the mainstream media, that's paid off? How could we hear them talk and not realize that it's scripted by now and most of the shit ain't even real? How don't we see that yet in 2026?
In 2026, bro.
Like, how come we can't see that yet?
Right. Like, who would even make an attempt to even sneak through the airport with drones and bombs on them, bro? Who would even attempt some shit like that? Heavy surveillance, LAX airport, which is heavy surveillance. TSA, they even got ICE walking around the LAX. So you mean to tell me this woman just magically gets arrested with drones and bombs to Sudan? And then you see how they say on behalf of Iran. So that's the propaganda just working its magic. That's it. That's the propaganda machine. That's what they do. These so-called they create these so-called boogeymen. And that so the people gonna be like, yeah, Iran is dangerous. Yes, they're a threat to our national security. No, they not. No, they not. They are not a threat to our national security. You know who's really a threat to our national security? Our own goddamn government to the citizens. Our own government is a threat to the citizens.
Teamed up with Israel, yup. Teamed up with Israel. United States teamed up with Israel is very dangerous for the American
stealing all our money.
They very dangerous to us.
Poisoning us through our products and food, feeding us laboratory grown meats, feeding us chemicals in our food, and stealing our money. And hiking up everything with taxes and got us paying for expensive education and healthcare. Robbing us blind, but meanwhile they trying to say these other countries is a boogeyman to us. But they the ones robbing us blind every damn year, every damn day. I don't believe it no more, man. I can't even say no more. I never believe in this shit. Never. I was born I was born and felt something funny. Felt something was off even coming into this goddamn place. When I grew up and start seeing about politics, I knew something was off. It just didn't. It just never morally set with me. Period. This voting system and all this, it's just never set well with my energy. Period. I don't know. Maybe some people just born that way. I don't know. But yeah, this is what we dealing with. All right, the brother said drop the link. You want to drop the link for the brother now to come up? This the guy Elijah Muhammad. I can't even. Is that Muhammad or I don't want to be butchering people's name.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, you might have to go to the other live stream because I don't think you could click on links on the vertical live. So you might have to go because we got two live streams running: the horizontal live and the vertical live. I see you, Marco. You said Rose 3420 said that's why I don't vote. Yeah, I never voted. I never voted for anyone. Never. And I'm proud to say I never voted. I'm proud to say that. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to the other I can't, I'm on my computer. Oh, all right. So you could drop okay.
All right, yeah, I just dropped that, John.
All right. All right. Is it connected? All right, I think
Let
you
me add him
connect.
to the stage. Let me add him. Oh, are you adding? Oh, you got it.
Yeah, you on.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing? Welcome to the Night and Day Network LLC platform.
Thank you for having me on your show, man. I appreciate what you're doing and on your streams, man. Thank you
No
for
problem.
pushing out that knowledge, man.
No problem. Appreciate it.
You
Let's
can
let
go
us
ahead. You can go ahead with the show. I don't want to hinder anything or any of the
Oh
discussion.
no, you good. No, you good.
So
Yeah, brother, if you got a point to make, yeah, definitely make that. We try and hear it.
So I don't know where to start because I've been joining a lot of streams before. So I have a channel where I got this name from Glockmood. So my name is Mahmoud, by the way.
Mahmoud. Okay.
Yes.
Mahmoud.
So yeah, thank you, sir. So if I want to jump in on a point when you were in discussion, so I can interject after one of your points. So if you'd want to have it that way set up or how you would like to have it.
I mean, what's your thoughts on this whole thing that we've been talking about regarding? I mean, you've been here for a few days, so regarding anything that you heard us talk about, do you have any points that you can make on anything we discussed, whether this live stream or maybe the two other live streams you stopped by on?
Any disagreements?
Any disagreements or
No,
anything?
not at all. Not at all, because what you covering is mostly what people don't cover or even talk about when it comes to mainstream media or other channels, because they too afraid to touch on these subjects and they're too timid when it comes to actually talking what's actually going on. Like, for example, when it comes to that Israel and Iran thing, I've been trying to find somebody who actually talks about what's going on, but they don't. And how you covering it? I'm very, like I told you in one of the comments that you had on your stream, I said in the 30 seconds where I stumbled on your stream, I was sold and I subscribed, because that's exactly what I wanted to hear and how I wanted someone to cover what's going on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, stuff happening. So I'm gonna give you a background or ground reports on what's going on. For when the war was going on, our flight. So we're between Israel and Iran, right? Iraq
Yeah.
is like in between. Iran is on our east and Israel is on our west. So
Mhm.
those people were dropping bombs on each other, and so our whole sky was like flights were canceled, everything was halted, and for the most part, still it's in that situation. So we still have our flights kind of grounded. We don't have many flights going on. Our imports and exports has been kind of dead. So it's kind of life is on a pause. We're in a limbo. So we don't know what's going on. So we just hoping this thing lasts, but we know it's not gonna last.
Right.
Trump already signaling that he wants to start bombing again. This dude is like compromised, like you said, because they got the tapes on him. They got the tapes, and they saying, "Oh, well, you're gonna do exactly what we say you're gonna do." Or we're releasing the tapes because you heard. I don't know if you heard the reports, but in the actual negotiations between the Israelis and uh, the I mean between the Iranians and the Americans, you got Vice President what's his name, the VP,
You talking about
the
Vance?
JD Vance, yeah,
Vance.
JD
Yeah.
Vance. So
Yeah.
JD Vance was taking calls from Benjamin Netanyahu to take orders and giving him updates on how the situation is going forward. I mean, what's how as a VP of a major country, supposedly the world leader, is giving update to somebody else. That just tells you who is in control and who is running the show behind the scenes. So it's just crazy, man. So,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure as everybody who listens, as soon as they just see that connection, everything else falls in line. Everything. Just see the connection between how Israel's controlling everything, and you will see the light.
Yeah, Israel's been controlling this, America for, for decades, on top of decades. Um, and everything we do, it's in the name of Israel. Like you can't even, like our politicians can't even speak on Israel. Like you have journalists actually asking them, "Do you put America before Israel?" They don't even answer the question. I seen one politician say, "Israel first before America." I'm like, huh? How? How can you even be an American citizen saying that? I
You
think I
got
think
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was saying you got Ted Cruz saying I got into the Senate with the sole mission of serving Israel. Like what? Like what else do you have to say about that? In any normal society or any normal state of governance, that's called high treason. That your priorities are for another nation instead of your own, and that people who are accused of high treason get hanged. That's in a normal society, but as long as you're not living in a normal society, that's just the normal affairs of what's going on.
Absolutely. I mean, we say that all the time that a lot of like our government is committing treason against American citizens. I mean, nobody asked for any of these wars that's going on. The citizens ain't asked for that war. Congress ain't even asked for that war. That was a executive decision that was made that override Congress and the House. So basically just ruled out the three branches and just went, saying they going right over there assist Israel and bombing Iran with no type of authorization. So yeah, that's what we dealing with. That
And
is
the
what we
worst
dealing with.
thing is, it's not over. The thing is, you heard how the next step is, right? You know what's the next step?
Yeah.
They're gonna start going after Turkey after Iran.
Yeah, they want
They
Turkey
already
next. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Trump is gonna leave the NATO, because if they have, uh, because if Israel's when they want to attack Turkey, right? America, as being part of NATO, has to come to defend Turkey. But since Trump is now signaling he wants to leave, he's gonna leave, so Israel have an open way to attack Turkey without them having to honor any obligation or anything. So just be on the lookout. That's what's and they're already signaling that. So be on the
Yeah.
lookout.
Yeah, he already mentioned Turkey, Cuba. Yeah, he already mentioned Cuba and yeah, Turkey and I believe Greenland.
Sound like he's using Hitler's playbook.
Right.
That's what it seems like to me. Because it's the same thing that happened around World War II. You gotta think about it. All those countries that the Nazis invaded, all the extreme things that they did to change their own country, all the division that they caused, and it seemed like this Trump character is actually following that same model.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And people are in, like, I don't know what's going on, but this mass hypnosis of people online that still don't see it. I don't know what, but the mass awakening has been coming in droves, and that's I'm very thankful for. But still, there's a lot of people online that I want to just like I can't say it on here, so I'm just
Yeah.
keep my. I don't
I
want to
mean,
put you in trouble.
it's the same pattern they did when they invaded the country you live in with Saddam Hussein and the weapons of mass destruction. Like, was those weapons of mass destruction ever discovered?
Yep, and you got that dumbass George Bush coming out. Oh, we apologize, apologize, apologize. Well, he got his answer right after that when that journalist threw that shoe at him. Like, how come
Right.
you come at and kill like 1 million people, destroy a whole infrastructure of a country? We still don't have running electricity. You know that?
Damn, still from that whole
For
from the
23
whole
years.
23 years. Damn.
Like our
So your country
electricity
ain't even fully recovered from that
Nope.
wow.
Nope. So if the electricity only comes for a few hours a day. So like they alternate 2 hours in and 2 hours off for the whole day mostly. But when it comes to summertime and stuff, it gets worse. So like 1 hour on and 4 hours off.
Damn.
That's what they're gonna want to do in America
Yeah,
and
I was
all the
about
other
to say that.
countries in the world. That's their
Right.
plan. See, they already accomplished that plan in Iraq already. But that's their plan for the whole world, to be able to distribute resources like that. That's why they want to consolidate everything into one database so they can control it. So they could click
So
it on and they can click it off. They could turn your water on, they could turn your water off. They could turn your electricity on, they could turn your electricity off. And they could do that city, by section, or do it to an individual. That's basically what their goal. That's their goal. That's their whole
Right.
agenda. Right. 100% control of all the resources on the planet. They just got to get it consolidated into one database. That's why they need all them data centers. That's why they need data centers everywhere, because they have to process a lot of information to consolidate everything like that. So they know they're going to need mass amount of data centers everywhere.
Right.
So anybody who's listening, the golden tip or golden hint like I can give you is like go and search how you can create your own penicillin, how can you create your own powder, like gunpowder for ammo for later, like how you can survive when the grid falls off. You don't know what's gonna happen. So any moment when this shit hits the fan, you can be prepared. That's the two golden things that you'd need in such situation: penicillin, which is antibiotics and stuff, and gunpowder, how you can create it, and other stuff like how you can, like, have your own farming and how you can, like, make the ground work and fertile for your seeds.
Right.
Just look it up, man. It's not gonna hurt for like 1 hour a day where you can search this stuff up.
Self-sustainability.
That's the
You
key.
got, yep, self-sustainability. But you talking about self-sustainability in times of war, because you talking about gunpowder and stuff like that. So you talking about self-sustainability in the midst of war, in the midst of just trying to survive those type of post-apocalyptic type of scenarios. Because you ain't only gonna have to protect yourself from government, you will have to protect yourself from other citizens too, who don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, fact.
And I gave the gunpowder thing because America is a very gun heavy culture, so just for that. So you need that.
Wow. And then another thing, like we said, people gonna have to stockpile food, but natural food though, not none of that chemical based food that they trying to force feed us. Like we said, you always gotta support your local businesses, support your local farmers markets and meat butchers. Go to the person that sell the halal meat or the kosher meat or whatever, because that's our corporations they really outrageous. Like this whole new agriculture thing they tapping into, as far as with artificial intelligence printing our food out. That's a no. They just approved Bill Gates. Let me pull this up again, because I don't think people understand what's going on with that. Let me pull that up.
A lot of people know that information, and but there's still a lot of people who don't, about the whole fake 3D printed meat, which I'm pretty sure they've been feeding us, especially through these fast food chains. They definitely been feeding us and testing it throughout the years. I know people saying that they don't have the equipment yet, and the industry don't have enough money yet to do it on a mass scale. Yeah, that's probably the truth, but that don't mean they doing it on other scales, like as far as testing it out with Popeyes, a couple of years, and testing it out with Chick-fil-A, and people's up here eating 3D printed meat made with dangerous they could be putting in that. They using stem cells, so they can use stem cells from just about anything to create this fake meat. And it could be stuff that's not even good for human DNA, which they've been giving us anyway, and 3D print. Yeah, and another thing with that means they would have full control over food supply, period. Because if they shutting down farms to build data centers, there ain't gonna be no more land left that do agriculture or raise cattle. It's just gonna be data centers everywhere. So they're like, well, now we don't have a choice but to print the food up, because we don't have enough space, nowhere to even do farming, and plus it's illegal anyway in most places because they say it affect climate change. Yeah, they got this whole thing mapped out of how they want the future to look. It's crazy.
The details. Good morning, Devin. Hey, good morning, George. Americans ate 75 billion pounds of red meat and chicken.
All right, let me pull this up. Hold on, y'all. Oh shit. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Yeah, I was wondering what the hell was going on. Hearing it from. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
We are back with the new lab-grown chicken that was just approved for sale in the U.S. Could be headed to your dinner plate. Devin Dwyer has the details. Good morning, Devin. Hey, good morning, George. Americans ate 75 billion pounds of red meat and chicken last year. But what if some of that meat was not raised on farms, but instead of high-tech facilities? Scientists say that could be good for the environment and your health, and soon it could be on menus and store shelves.
This morning, the USDA has approved cell-cultivated meat to be sold to the public for the first time.
So that's where it all starts, just a few cells.
2 cultivated meat producers now getting the green light to begin commercially selling their chicken, not raised on a farm, but in a facility.
Disgusting.
Meat is grown using real animal cells and large bioreactors fed with nutrients. I recently got a tour of California-based Upside Foods, the nation's first and largest cultivated meat producer.
You're making chicken in there.
Yeah, so if you look at this is approximately a 200 plus liter tank. And we take cells from a chicken or an egg. It takes 2 weeks to grow the equivalent of 1 chicken, 1,000 chickens, or 100,000 chickens.
So you're saying in this factory, you can make more meat faster and cleaner than an average farmer?
Well, ultimately, yes.
The company says cell-cultivated meat could help feed the world's booming population using a fraction of the land and water of animal farming and help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Many experts say more study is needed.
I got to try this cell-cultivated chicken at the facility in California, guys. I got to say the texture was a little bit different, but it did taste like chicken. The company says they hope to get it on restaurant menus in the next few weeks, then maybe on store shelves in the next 5 years. And dozens of startup companies are getting in on the game, guys. You mentioned the texture. So
yeah, man, ain't nobody eating. No. That's not it.
Bro, of course the texture is different because that's not real meat. You're gonna look at into like 2 to 5 years. You're gonna see all the cancerous stuff gonna pop up. Man, it's gonna be glorious. Like even with the grain stuff, man, they changed the DNA of the grain and the wheat. That's
Yeah.
why you got all these problems of gluten free and all that stuff popping off of people who are not compatible with eating even bread. The thing that people have survived on for thousands of years is now people are allergic to it because they
Right.
changed the DNA of the actual grain. So now they're gonna come after your chicken and your beef. Man, that's gonna be on overboard now.
So let me ask you something. In your country, do they allow any of this stuff in your country, far as like
Okay.
GMO,
No.
genetically? No. So Iraq doesn't accept none of that in your country, right?
No, we what we do is we have like for example, us and my family, we have our meats like from the cow in front of us. Like we see the cow slaughter right in front of us before we take the meat.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So that's what you need. That's what people need. Like go to the butcher, see
Yeah.
them actually cutting the meat before you buy it, and
Yeah,
buy
that's
it
what
in
we do.
bulk.
Right.
Yeah, buy it in bulk because it's gonna be cheaper and you're gonna save a whole lot more. Because I've seen some videos of people, look at this hack, we're gonna buy some like 150 pounds of meat and we're gonna cut it and store it in deep freeze. I mean, that's how it goes. I
Yeah.
don't know when you people started to happen to come up with this stuff, but that's what we do around here.
Yeah.
That's what you
All right. So
need.
what about y'all fast food restaurants y'all have over there? What American fast food restaurants do y'all have in your country? Like
Well,
McDonald's? What
we
type of
do have like one or two McDonald's franchises, but they're more like a novelty than actual fast food like franchise. Like you only find one or two.
Medusa say you people? Now he mean in America.
I mean Americans. I meant
Americans.
American.
Yeah, he's from Iraq. Medusa, he's not from America. So him saying you people meaning like Americans, you people, not
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
black.
don't mean any disrespect to
Yeah,
anybody here. So I
yeah.
apologize. So
Nah,
yeah,
you good.
so McDonald's, we got this what's the other one? Burger King, we got
Okay.
KFC. But as I said, they're only like novelties or just for their name recognition, but you don't find them popping off in every like few quarters, blocks or whatever.
Yeah.
So because most our franchises are like homegrown or like local, so we got one that's called Viking Burger, and this one is like it's got like 50 franchises around. So we don't have those that you have. We don't have Walmarts. We don't have those also big chain
Oh yeah, like
stores that you have.
department stores. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
department
we don't
stores.
have those. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you something about Now I'm gonna take you back to when Saddam was in. So was Iraq did y'all like Saddam Hussein, or was he like a bad leader to your country? I don't even remember if because that's far back.
Yeah, yeah, but still the jury is out on that case because you still
Yeah.
have like 50 on this side and 50 on that side, like still
Okay.
like the Republicans and Democrats when it comes to
Yeah.
any president that you got. But the problem is now people are looking back and saying, "Man, this dude been foreseeing stuff that we didn't see. We were like so excited to get rid of him. Now we have like even worse version of him because back in the day it's just like one party that was in control. Even if you have like corruption and bad leader, it's just like one guy. But now you got multiple parties. Each party has its own armed militia, and each one is wreaking havoc whatever they like. So nobody got any control over anything. everybody got their own like corner of the country for their own and controlling it whatever they like. So that's the situation most of the time. So yeah, so we got rid of one and we got 50 other people came in his place now.
Dang. Somebody said I'm from Minnesota and we don't have a Viking burger. No, he's from Iraq. He lives in Iraq, so yeah, there's no Viking burgers in America because that's that's over there in Iraq. That's where they, a food chain over there.
Have you seen like these food YouTubers? They've been coming over here to try out our food, man.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some people pop off, like this dude who went on Joe Rogan. I forgot what's his name, but he's like this big, ultra famous food reviewer. He came in Iraq like a week or two ago, and he was like trying all the food and everything. He was having a good time. Anybody out here after the war, hopefully is over, you can come up. I can show you around, man.
Yeah, because right now, like you said, you in between two countries that got a conflict. So
yeah, I got a question. So how do y'all feel in Iraq about who do y'all feel is wrong in this situation? Y'all feel like it's Israel, or you feel like it's Iran, or like what do y'all feel? What are y'all views on that?
So it's Israel to the death, as always, because we don't stand them. They did so many horrible stuff even to us, because back in the day, even the 90s and the 2000s, they were in cahoots with the CIA and all those organizations. What they did is they came in and killed and assassinated so many of our scientists, bombings and everything. So even in this conflict, like we see what they're doing, we know what's happening. So people been even the like. Let me explain it this way: Iran has done also horrible stuff to us, and we don't like them because they are interfering with our country and our political affairs. They got their own stuff happening here where they have a control over our government. So we don't like them. That's one. But still, even when we don't like them, we still stand with them because we know the BS that's happening. And we don't want to see them, even with all our disagreements with them, we don't want to see them bombed or destroyed by America and Israel. Say the enemy of my enemy situation. So
yeah.
So y'all look at Iran as the lesser evil and Israel as the big evil.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we have a whole like portion of our country, and a big majority of our country still very much love Iran. Like very, very much love Iran. Like you got like you got these evangelicals who would like stand with Israel no matter what. We got that version here with Iran.
Okay.
So still.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a split between rather y'all going, like you said, they're gonna stand more with Iran anyway because Israel been doing.
But the other half that don't like Iran, they still stand with Iran because we still hate Israel and what they're doing. Like even in Iran itself, they got these Sunni portions of their country. They stood with Iran and they came out with the videos and letters saying we stand with our country no matter what, when we're ready to die for it and to fight this satanic government or regime of Israel and America. So that's how it's happening.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, majority of American citizens do not like Israel, and they don't like Israel's on our government that they've been having. I mean, of course, you got that bunch that whatever the political thing to do that represents their party. If it's to basically support Israel, they do it. But that's a small percentage. Majority of people is not really agreeing with the stuff that Israel's doing to Palestine, and they damn sure ain't agreeing with what Israel's doing to Iran. And most of us damn sure don't like our money basically going to Israel for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because American citizens, we got it real bad. Because we sending billions of dollars over there to Israel a year. Our government is 100% rogue at this point.
Yep. Like you got it's not just the Republic. So I don't want anybody listening to take this just as a Republican bad, Democrats good. Like you got Democrats like this old hag in the House of Representatives. I forgot her name. God damn it. The very old chick. What's her name?
So,
The one who's leading the party in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, Nancy
Pelosi. Yeah.
So yeah, she said we support Israel no matter what, and even if there was no Israel in the Middle East, we will make an Israel in the Middle East. Like you got these type of people
Oh, yeah,
leading
she's
the
a
government.
Zionist.
Yeah. And Chuck Schumer, the guy in the Senate, saying, well, we will never have peace with Palestinians because they don't believe in Torah, because the Torah says it's their land, it's our land. And he says it's our because I'm also Zionist, Jewish, and whatever. And you got him saying that out loud. And if you say he said that, that's now you got to be some bad guy, you're anti-Semitic or whatever. But he said that. Like, what's going on? And I know I'm glad that people like what's her Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson have been coming out and making waves and opening eyes of many people. And you got them having millions of followers. So them turning the page and showing people what's actually going on and opening their eyes on the situation has been very helpful. Now you got the Republicans, the maggots, have been split in half over this.
Yeah.
The people who remain basically in his coalition now are the very old boomers who are in the coalition because they're very heavily evangelical and they support Israel because not just because the Bible or whatever version of their Bible said so, is that they believe because we're gonna support Israel at the end of time, they gonna something happen to them, and then Jesus is gonna come back. Because in order for Jesus to come back, Israel must become a nation, and they're gonna do this and that. And the Israelis believe we must get all these countries and use the Christians for our own benefit, so we can get our Messiah. It's just like one is using the other because they think Jesus is gonna come on their side if they do it that way. Like it's that's the world we're living in. People using each other and destroying other people's livelihood because they think if we do that, our Jesus is gonna take us to the Holy Land. It's really crazy, man.
Yeah, they're lost. They're really lost. They I don't know what they thinking over there, but we know that's not the same. That's not the same Israel that's in the Bible that they created over there. We know that's 1948 Rothschilds state of Israel that created by the Zionists. So we know that's what they are over there. That's not the real Israel. That's not the people from the Bible that's occupying that land over there. Those are German Jews coming in and occupying
Polish, you got Polish, you
Yep.
got Ukrainians, you got yep. Ain't nothing to do with the Israel who is the prophet Yaqub in the Bible. That's not him. That's not it. That's not it, y'all. And you got these people in the comments, man. What do you mean the only democracy in the Middle East? Like they got a right to rape. They got a right to rape. Actual law. They have almost had a civil war. I don't know. Did you see that?
You said they almost had civil war?
Yeah, they almost had a civil war because they almost tried typically to take to court the people who were caught on tape raping a Palestinian, and people stormed the prison saying they got a right to do it. Like this is the type of people these people support.
Right. And another thing they're not showing on mainstream media that there's actual people, it's actual Jewish people in Israel that's actually protesting against Zionist Jews that's going into Palestine and Iran. They have actual people in their country that's actually protesting against them now that they will not show on social media. I mean, well, so mainstream media, but people on social media is posting it, and you can see Israeli police throwing old rabbis on the ground over there and spraying them with stuff and all that. I'm like, all right, so why mainstream media is never going to show that protest? They're never going to show that they have actual citizens in Israel right now that's protesting against the Zionists. Not everyone is going along with this. Not everyone is going along with these countries being bombed. Not everyone is going along with it. Same thing for the Jewish people over here in America. They actually protesting against the Zionists. They're burning the Star of David flags and all of that in the streets. But mainstream media will never show that, because if you have a mainstream media that's owned by the Zionist Jews, why would they show their own people protesting against them? And I wouldn't even say their own people, because those people are not the same as the day-to-day Jewish person is not a Zionist Jew. So there is a separate thing going on here with that. But I was shocked to even see that they actually got protests going over in Israel right now against what's going on with the Palestinians and the Iranians, which is blew my mind seeing that. That's because our mainstream media would never show that at all. Yeah, that's what we dealing with.
Anybody like, I don't know if you heard the latest reporting. They exposed that it is an actual state policy. They're training dogs to do stuff to the Palestinian prisoners. I'm not gonna say it. I don't know if it's gonna catch you in a bad taste with YouTube, but look it up. They have a lot of testimonials and like people who are actual prison guards from Israel reporting, yeah, we do that. They train dogs to grape Palestinian prisoners. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that. Nope.
Yeah.
I have
Go
to
ahead,
research
look it
that
up. They are actually training dogs to do that. Training them. So the pit of their depravity doesn't end. So whatever you hear, I'm gonna give you a rule of thumb. Whatever you hear the Israelis have accused the Palestinians or Arab of doing, just know that it's actually them. It's their way of twisting reality, where they're gonna go ahead and first say, oh, you're doing this to us, well, and actually they are doing it. So the Arabs or the accused can't say, no, you actually doing that. They can't flip it on them. So that's how they go ahead and start the accusation before the other people say, no, you are actually the one doing that.
Yeah, so yeah, I just looked it up
That's
now.
psychological warfare.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the
Did you find
UN, yeah, so the UN is actually they're actually declaring Israel as an illegal state for occupying Palestine. The UN actually declared that last year, that Israel is conducting illegal, basically illegal war crimes against Palestinians. So that's another thing.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the UN. I don't know how much pressure they're going to put on Israel to actually step in and take care of that, to stop it, but they actually declared Israel as illegal, occupying Palestine. So, and that's all right. So I just came across, it says various right. So what you just brought up about the dogs. So various human rights organizations, the United Nations, have documented and condemned the use of trained military dogs by Israeli forces to attack and intimidate Palestinian prisoners and civilians. It says sexual violence and torture detainees at the SDE detention facility and other prisons have reported that guards use dogs to sexually assault and grape prisoners. Systematic intimidation. Released prisoners have testified to being stripped, blindfolded, and then threatened or urinated on by dogs in part of a systematic effort to humiliate them. All right, so physical assault. Multiple testimonies describe the guards unleashing uh, police dogs to tear their flesh of the detainee, in some cases leading to fatal injuries. So yeah, you're right. I just googled it. So yeah, they are using dogs to basically attack prisoners. So
And
U.S.
there's so much more. It never ends there. It never ends there.
Right.
If I go on and go on, it's gonna be a whole pit of darkness that's gonna be unleashed on this. And I don't want to start it right here. There's a lot of times and a lot of like places where we can go ahead and delve into that, but I don't want to start
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, we do have a Rumble, so y'all can check out us on Night and Day Rumble. Actually, we might have to start taking some of these discussions over there on rumble.com where they actually allow you to have more, you have more lenience over there to talk about certain topics where they don't regulate like YouTube does. So rumble.com, check us out, Night and Day Network on Rumble. We actually verified on there. So if you type in Night and Day Network on rumble.com, you'll see our page pop up. We have a whole bunch of content on there, and so if you want to check out some of the content we got on there, y'all can. We haven't been live on there in a while, but we might have to start taking some of these discussions over there. You know, just because YouTube be with their
Right.
guidelines and all that. All right, so I wanted to finish the rest of this. So, all right, so U.S. against civilians in military operations, so home raids. Israeli forces often use dogs to Oket's Kane unit during the raids to scout buildings and tunnels. It says attack vulnerable persons. Documented cases included a military dog mauling a 24-year-old man with Down syndrome in Gaza, who later died from the wounds in the attack on the 70-year-old woman in Jubalia.
There's a video of those two instances, just to make it clear.
And they said children and pregnant women. Whew. So reports from organizations like the Defense of Children International describe the dogs attacking children as young as 4 during arrest raids. So yeah, they got the dogs actually attacking pregnant women and children. All right, so United Nations official position. United Nations UN experts and the OHCHR have called these actions serious violations of international law and inhumane, degrading treatment. Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, maintained that the dogs are used solely for clearing operational necessities, such as detected explosive or tunnels, not to use of punitive purposes or intentionally harm. But people already came forward and said that they was attacked by these dogs. And what they really using the dogs for? Yeah, they might be using the dogs to sniff out exposing, but they also using them to attack citizens as well and prisoners. So international action, human rights groups in the Netherlands have filed lawsuits to halt the export of police dogs to Israel, citing, oh, so they was getting police dogs from the Netherlands. That's where they're getting their dogs from. So human rights groups in the Netherlands have filed lawsuits to halt the export of dogs to Israel, citing their use in alleged war crimes. So they're using dogs from the Netherlands to basically do war crimes over there in Gaza. So okay, all right. So yeah, so you was right about that. They actually got I see they got videos. They got videos from even 2 weeks ago. Israeli soldier raid mosque, unleashing dogs on Palestinian men.
And just so you know, when you see that and say, oh, that's too far away from us, why we care about that? Because just so you know, the IDF, the people who are using these tactics, actually train the police departments throughout America. So whatever the police departments do to your people, they got it trained from the IDF. Just so you know.
Right. So yeah, they got videos. Yeah, make sure y'all double tapping the screen and sharing this information. This is some real information. Not too many people will even be discussing this type of information, but we gonna dive into it. Y'all know how we do. I guess
Facts.
anything else you wanna let the people know what's going on.
Make sure to subscribe and double like that button. Go check the websites. Make sure to support these brothers in any way, shape, or form that you can. These guys out here are giving you the unfiltered truth, and they deserve some support from that. So any way that you can support, make sure to do that. And hey, I'm gonna tell you one more thing. So that ad that you'll be playing on the when you interject between takes on between subjects, right? If you
Yeah.
need any help with that, let me know, because my work is in marketing. So if you need
Okay.
anything, hit me up and I can set it up for you.
Okay. Just you on Instagram?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, just hit us up on Instagram and
I'm
in
gonna give it
DM.
in the private chat. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
drop it in the private chat,
All
and
right.
you can. All right. Now you can see it.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me switch over. Yeah, I'm in a private chat on this. They didn't switch this up so damn much.
Yep. I
You got
see
it?
it over there.
You see it?
StreamYard,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. And if you can, just shoot us a DM. Night and day underscore network. That's our Instagram.
Night and day underscore. Okay. Night.
Yep. Night and day underscore network. Yep. Make sure y'all all follow us on there too. Night and day underscore network. And we on Facebook as well. It's Night and Day Network LLC on Facebook. Yeah, we come on here and put the real information out because we know ain't too many platforms going to talk about it. Because a lot of other platforms is either sponsored by someone, so they can't really talk about certain things. But we talk about the unfiltered truth on here because first of all, we sponsor our own videos with our own products at that because we know we don't want to be controlled by nobody. We don't want to be controlled on what on the information. We know YouTube got their guidelines, so what we saying is staying within the guidelines, but we still giving the unfiltered truth because we know
I
YouTube.
give you I dropped you a follow on Instagram, man.
Okay, appreciate it. All
No
right.
worries, man. And I appreciate you for going on these airwaves and giving the knowledge, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. And man, you
Definitely
welcome back
appreciate it.
anytime. You welcome back anytime. So
I appreciate it, man. So I'm gonna head out. You can continue with your show. It's like 10:37 p.m. here, so that's the time difference where we are at. So
All
yeah,
right.
have a good show, man.
All right,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. All right.
All right. All right. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that was the brother from Iraq. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I had to ask that question about because I knew Iraq. I knew Iraq had some problems with Iran in the past. So I
Yeah.
was kind of wondering him being, Iraq being in between Israel and I and and Iran. I had to see what the Iraqis think about this. So even they taking Iran's side when they had beef with Iran back in the day, and they rather take Iran's side over Israel. That goes to show you the type of wickedness that Israel is. Like that shit is crazy. And I want to talk to some people that's actually from Israel. I bet you a lot of them don't even agree with a lot of the stuff their own government is doing.
Right.
I'm wondering if
And
they getting support from their own people.
right. And I want to talk to some Iranians. Any Iranians in here or anybody from Israel in here? We'd love to get y'all on the panel. Discuss some things. And that's what it takes. I'm glad that social media allowed to create a medium between people from different cultures to connect and actually share ideas and information. Because a lot of the stuff they show on their media about
It's
America be
propaganda.
propaganda, and then what they be showing America about their country be propaganda.
Yep.
So we gotta actually talk. We gotta actually talk to the citizens from those countries, so you can get the real scoop on what's really going on.
That's the key to all of this.
Right. MAGA in here be mad.
Oh,
That's all right.
MAGA mad,
Yeah,
MAGA
yeah,
mad,
MAGA, y'all be all right.
MAGA
Y'all
mad,
realize, y'all realize how much your beloved Trump don't
mad
love you.
MAGA,
You'll see.
mad MAGA.
He already lost like half of his more than half of his support anyway. I'm talking about the people that people that have millions of followers. He even lost most of that support already. So yeah, I think most of the people that supporting him is boomers, the baby boomers. Yeah, I didn't get to play this real quick. I want to play this before we get out of here. I want to play this because people don't realize that the drugs that's coming in through the country is shipped in by a lot of the corporations, a lot of the banks, a lot of the corporations that occupy America. Yeah, a lot of the drugs coming in through by the people from the private sector, corporations. So this this probably went over a lot of people's head because this really wasn't really promoted in the media as much. But when they found, tons of cocaine on JP Morgan ships that came into Philadelphia, came into the Philadelphia port, these drugs was found on JP Morgan's boats, ships. All right, let's get into this real quick. Pull this up.
Yeah, you gotta pull that joint up.
Let me pull this up real quick, y'all. I had to put it on the browser. All right. So this is when JP Morgan ships got busted with, cocaine on there worth $1.3 billion worth of cocaine on the cargo ship. All right. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Let me bring it back to the beginning.
Investigators in Philadelphia are searching a cargo ship captured in what's being called one of the biggest drug busts in U.S. history. Some 17 tons of cocaine has been recovered, worth more than $1 billion on the street. Officials tell CBS News there might be another 30 tons on board on top of what they've already found. The ship's second mate and crew member have been arrested and charged, admitting they helped load the cocaine for more than a dozen other boats while at sea.
Yeah, it came from Chile, Peru, and Panama and the Bahamas before it got to Philly.
That's right. It was on its way to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Supersized seizure. Tons of cocaine crammed into containers on a cargo ship.
15,000 kilos, that's a lot.
Tonight, the history-making haul and how it all came to be in our backyard.
Good evening. I'm Jim Rosenfield.
And I'm Jacqueline London. NBC 10 was the first to tell you about this record cocaine seizure, the largest ever for our area and one of the biggest in U.S. history. Authorities say the drugs could have a street value of more than $1 billion. More than 15,000 kilos of cocaine has been seized from 7 containers on that ship. When you do the math, we're talking about 16.5 tons of the drug, some 33,000 pounds.
As for that ship, it was intercepted by the feds at the Packer Avenue Marine Terminal port on the Delaware River in South Philadelphia. That's after it had been to Chile, Panama, and the Bahamas. We have team coverage with NBC 10's Brandon Hudson and Mitch Blocker. We'll begin with Brandon. He's across the river from the port in Gloucester City, where he just got new information. Brandon, this is a story the NBC 10 team has been working to nail down since midnight, and the scope just growing larger by the hour.
Yeah, that's right, Jim and Jacqueline. In the last 20 minutes, we found out how the drugs got on this ship. Police paperwork says a crew and a drug ring used floating nets off the coast of Peru. Now, take a look at those containers. That crew filled 7 of them with $1 billion worth of cocaine. This drug bust has a trickle-down effect, which ultimately keeps you, your family, and your neighborhood safe. An historic large-scale cocaine bust that sounds like something out of a big-budget blockbuster. 33,000 pounds of coke worth more than $1 billion. Investigators found the drugs in 7 shipping containers the size of a standard tractor trailer aboard a ship at a Philadelphia port. It's a little crazy down here today. News spread so quickly, this food truck owner heard about it by lunchtime. A traffic jam formed in front of his business. At one point, federal investigators blocked the intersection to let a command post drive by.
It's holding up the drivers that want to get other containers out of the yard. So it's going to be chaotic down here today.
A senior law enforcement official told NBC 10 the ship traveled from Chile to Panama and to the Bahamas before it stopped in South Philly. Last night's bust comes 3 months after another cocaine seizure, which at the time was the fourth largest in the region. Well, back in March, authorities captured 1,200 pounds of coke worth $38 million, a total which is now pocket change compared to what investigators found on a South American ship.
We know that it's happened a couple of times. It's been on the news a couple of times. Last night was pretty big.
And within the past hour, we got a statement from the ship's owner, Mediterranean Shipping Company. In the statement, MSC said shipping companies are often the targets of drug trafficking. It takes this matter very seriously, and they are working with law enforcement. Live along the Delaware River, I'm Brandon Hudson, NBC 10 News.
And our coverage continues with investigative reporter Mitch Blocker live in our newsroom.
And Mitch, the Department of Homeland Security, it says before today it had seized 19 tons.
Blocker live in our newsroom.
And Mitch, the region has never seen the likes of something this big, right?
Yeah, let's give this some perspective. The Department of Homeland Security, it says before today it had seized 19 tons of cocaine. That's across the entire country. The 16 tons that they found in Philadelphia nearly doubles the total. When federal agents boarded this cargo ship in the port of Philadelphia, they discovered drugs scattered throughout 7 massive containers. Before arriving in Philly, the cargo ship traveled from Chile through Panama and the Bahamas.
You want to get as high up in the food chain as possible to prevent as much drugs as you can to get onto the streets.
Law enforcement professionals like Jamison Rogers say 15,000 kilos is a one-of-a-kind drug seizure, something never before seen.
That's a massive amount. I mean, just with 1 kilo, the street value of that is roughly $30,000.
Port of Philadelphia security is fully in the hands of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. CBP requires any ship headed for the U.S. to file details on its route and cargo. The answers may trigger an inspection. Customs officials have not released details of what was seized, but did confirm a massive investigation underway at Philadelphia's port. The Port of Philadelphia is the 23rd busiest port in the U.S., with more than 23 million tons of cargo hitting the dock each year.
Now, keep in mind, this is J.P. Morgan owned ships. These are J.P. Morgan owned these short ships, right? But peep this though. These drugs are meant to get caught. They're going to end up in the streets anyway. I mean, but that's how they get the drugs in. They might do a quick bust to make it, to make it look good for taxpayers and make it look good for, around voting time and make it look like they're actually doing some work. But best believe when the photo ops and all that stuff is done with, and the case, that drugs get put back out in the streets anyway. And they hide it under drug stings, drug bust stings and all that. Now the drugs is going back out in the streets. Not only that, a lot of those busts be diversions for other ships coming in with cocaine. So they might bust that ship, but they'll let another ship go. And another ship will be unloading cocaine somewhere near, on the dock somewhere, and it's going to a warehouse ready to be distributed out in the streets. But don't keep in mind, the cocaine that got busted is still going out in the streets regardless. But that's just for, to make it look like they doing some work. So yeah, that's all that shit really be about. Both ships the drugs are still going to get sold. The drugs are still going to hit, every major drug dealer in America that's waiting on that supply to come through. Yeah, their supply is still getting supplied to them. Yes. They might have to wait a little bit, but they still gonna get their drugs to sell at the end of the day. But yeah, a lot of these ships that brought in, a lot of banks like J.P. Morgan and Wells Fargo and all these other banks, yeah, they be the ones bringing the drugs in. So all these fake ass drug wars that they be claiming that they're, we got to fight against the war on drugs, and no, it be them actually bringing it in anyway. So you lock people up for touching
that problem. Yeah,
you lock people up for touching them, so that's more money they extract out of the people for taxpayers to build these prisons, keep the prisons full. Yeah, so just all one big scheme. Yep. But yeah, man,
They gave
that's
us the drugs to start so they'd be able to investigate us.
right. Facts. Yes, indeed. I guess anything else, man. The day's 420. Shout out to you smoke your 420 smokers. We got a 30% off sale going on our website right now, nightandayherbals.com. You already know we sell, CBD in the form of CBD cigarettes, trim, vapes, pain pain relief balm, lotions and soaps, body oils. We have hoodie apparels on hoodies on there. So make sure you check out our website, it's nightandayherbals.com, or you can Google us, Night and Day Network LLC on your Google. We suggest y'all just Google us because you will see the site pop up. You'll see, the reviews and the ratings on Google. You'll see we 5 stars on there. So that's Night and Day Network LLC. Type that in your Google browser. You'll see everything pop up, our social medias, and everything else. So man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. I guess what else we got for the people?
Man, thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Just follow us on all platforms. Like and share this video. And support us, nightandayherbals.com. You can scan the QR code at the top, or you can simply, click the link in the description box, or you can just search us on Google, Night and Day Network LLC. Everything about us will pop up. Our shop, you'll see we 5 stars on there. See all our other social medias on there. Yeah, that's about it. Thank y'all.
I'm not even gonna lie. The joint pain I deal with every day will slow me all the way down. But ever since I started using this right here, Night and Day Pain Relief Balm, everything changed. And within minutes, I feel the difference. Like real relief. Now I can clean my whole house without even thinking about the pain. As a nurse, I'm on my feet all day. And this right here helps me get through my entire shift. I can actually enjoy time with my kids now. Go outside, be active, without hurting the whole time. It feels good to just live again. Honestly, if it wasn't for Night and Day Pain Relief Balm, I don't think I'd have the quality of life I have right now.
Discomfort slows you down? Reach for natural relief. Night and Day Hemp's extra strength CBD pain relief balm melts into aching muscles, delivering warmth you can feel. Soothe your body naturally. Feel free to move again. Night and Day Hemp balm melts away tension so you can enjoy every moment. Feel the difference fast. Real relief, real results. Order now at Night and Day Herbals.